For those of you watching this, I would like to preface, as I like to do when I'm in this particular mood, PMSing. I would like to warn you that I've been on the brink of tears all day. I'm a little irritable. My hair looks good though. I think I'm gonna be a twists girly for this season, for this summer, because obviously doesn't take much to send me over the edge. So we're going to talk about a movie while I wait for chicken strips to be made. The one thing that could possibly keep me sane. Ironically, while wearing a shirt that says, "Are y'all okay?" No, I'm not. I will be. But if I break out into tears for no reason in the middle of this video, don't be scared. It's just my uterus. Hi. I'm Kendall. My hands are so dry as usual. If you're new around here, welcome. Not new around here, what is up, home skillet biscuit? And today we're talking about a movie that a lot of people wanted me to watch, and I wanted to watch originally when the trailers were going around, because I thought, my God, are we gonna get an MMF bisexual threesome for the main screen? Happy Pride. That's what they sold the movie on, so that's what I went in there looking for. But then I realized that's not what's going to happen. It's a movie about tennis-ish, kind of, sort of. Well, tennis as a metaphor of sorts, which admittedly I have no interest in. But after I watched it the first time, I heard very good receptions about it. I felt like I was going insane. I was like, am I the only person that doesn't feel like this movie is an exemplar of cinema coming back, as some people have likened it to? But I saw it again and I liked the film itself more, because I learned that I wasn't going in there to watch an MMF bisexual threesome. I'm going in there to watch a movie that has other things in regards to that. I am instead going to see a diet gay movie that's pretty good. And if you didn't know what I was talking about, we're talking about Challengers. Pretty obvious. Yes, I've seen Challengers now 3 times, twice in theaters, once at home. And with each subsequent watch, I do enjoy it more, but there's also certain parts that I like less. So if you would like a very, very, very watered down explanation of the film, my thoughts on the film, I will give you a spoiler-free review. And then, of course, as usual, I'm gonna talk about what happens in the movies and my thoughts on them. So buckle in, Buttercup. We're doing a video that Amanda the Jedi probably already did already. It's really funny because every single time I have an idea to do a video, she beats me to it, man. She probably did this video, what, 3 weeks ago? Let me look. A week ago as a filmmaker. So the film takes place over a period of about a decade and a half, playing with time throughout the narrative, kind of traversing between the past and present, more distant past, more current, closer to present, in this kind of traversing flashback pattern that all unravel into this complicated relationship between 3 people, Art and Patrick, who are former childhood friends and current opponents in a Challengers tennis competition, and the stoic, cold, calculated, competitive Tashi, who is a former tennis star and world-class tennis coach, as well as Art's wife. After a series of disappointing losses, Tashi, in an effort to push Art into gaining his confidence back on the court, she suggests that he joins a lesser level, lesser ranking competition to get his confidence back so he can go forward and win a US Open. And perhaps coincidentally, he ends up having to compete against Patrick, who again is a childhood friend and rival of sorts of his. Throughout the movie, we discover their relationship to each other, Pat and Art, Pat and Tashi, Art and Tashi, and their relationship to each other, that kind of triangulation, and their relationship to tennis. Now, this is a very whittled down explanation, again, spoiler free. There's a lot to talk about in, well, I don't think this is a spoiler to say it gets kind of gay. Happy Pride. There is a lot of exploration around, well, not actually a lot of exploration. There's a lot of tension, I should say, around sexuality, competition, expectation, pressure, performance. And each of these things and several more are explored in subtle and not so subtle ways. And again, the movie's fine. The movie's good. Spoiler free, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It's definitely a movie, again, that benefits from subsequent viewings. And with each viewing, the movie becomes less and less a story of 2 men vying for the attention and support, if not affection, of 1 woman. And it becomes more of a story of 2 men using a common bullseye, a common focus to make sense and perform a relationship between the 2 men. Whereas Tashi as a character feels more like the object that allows them to work through that. Again, the movie's good. I do struggle to see why people are referring to it as this like astounding work. There are some shots that are pretty cool. I do, again, like the way that it plays with time. I do think it's worth a watch if for no other reason than watching a psychological dumb fantasy with Zendaya. And her having two attractive white boys, at least superficially floundering over her, begging for her approval and validation. There's some really great scenes, really great dialogue. I like the way the movie goes about dialogue. A lot of the movie is using tennis as a tool, as a stylistic choice. Some work, some don't. I'll talk about the ones that don't work. One even gave me straight up vertigo. But yes, the movie does some fun things with timelines, non-linear storytelling. It's also weirdly HD. The first time I saw it, I was like, why can I see every pore? This is almost disconcerting. But yeah, it's good. It's good. That's your spoiler-free rundown. And let's get into the nitty-gritty, as well as my commentary, of course. This is Challengers 2024. I forgot to introduce our ad for today. So okay, thank you. Oh my God. Hello everyone, this is Admiral Kennie, and today's video is sponsored by Rocket Money. Let's go for smart finances. Let's go for being an adult now who has to set budgets because I have responsibilities. Let's go. If you're like me, you spend a lot of money on random subscriptions, bills that you forgot about, things that you forgot you bought, and you're trying to be smarter with your money. And that, my friends, is where today's sponsor, Rocket Money, comes in. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, negotiate bills, and overall manage your money better. You can take a detailed look at your finances and give you any alerts of something that you may have forgotten about or looks a little strange. They looked at my internet bill and was saying, that's a little high. Do you want us to negotiate for you on your behalf? And I was like, yes, I would. And they will do that for you. And along with that, you can set spending alerts so you don't go over a certain budget, smart savings for particular, maybe larger items that you're trying to get, a car. And you can also quickly and easily cancel unwanted or forgotten subscriptions straight from the app. So if you would like to check out Rocket Money and join the 5 million people who are using it today, you can click on my link down below and try it for free. Big thanks again to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to the debauchery. Yeah. I'm gonna go see if my chicken strips are done. I just almost cried again because I went to go get my chicken strips. Nothing went wrong, they just had them. I'm really excited about it. Ugh. I hate this shit. So the movie opens with the first of what will be frequently spliced in scenes from the final match between Art and Patrick, taking place at the New Rochelle, New York Challengers competition. The match is intense in both speed and perception and energy. The crowd follows back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when we look in the crowd, we see Tashi, played by Zendaya, who is also intensely and stoically following the ball until she begins to hyper focus on one side of the court. It would seem that she has a particular intensity towards both players, and as we will find throughout the story, I can see why. I'm hot, I'm hungry, also a little nauseous. I wanna die, 'cause my uterus is taking me out of the game. Oh, I wish I could donate it to science. I wish that I could melon ball my uterus out of my body without pain. Maybe I can loan it out, then I can cast it away and pick it up when I need it. But I don't need it anytime soon. Big ass chicken strips. We flash back to 2 weeks prior to this competition, and this is right after Art had an embarrassing loss to someone who is a much lower ranked player than him. He's an incredibly successful tennis player, kind of a current living legend. He has won basically every major open there is except the elusive US Open. So again, to have his confidence shaken by someone who might as well be a rookie shakes both him as well as his wife Tashi, who is his coach as well, and also an incredibly intense woman.
Decimate that little bitch.
And doesn't talk about shit else but tennis. She doesn't say shit else about anything but tennis. We will find that she's always been like this. And honestly, she doesn't sound like a fun person to be around. Actually, none of the people, spoiler, in this movie I consider particularly likable, which is definitely one of my bigger gripes with the movie, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. So Tashi is like, what do I need to do to get you to play better. You're not playing to the best of your ability. You're falling behind. You're falling short. Again, as we will learn that she is also a very decorated player herself, but he seems to be losing footing, losing momentum as he's getting older. So again, Tashi's like, what do I need to do to get your confidence back? And though she is supportive, if that's what you would call it, her methodology for encouraging him is notably pointed.
We can stay here. We can just be rich people. That's all you think you can handle? Or are you keeping a tennis player?
And very quickly, it's pretty obvious that Art's main motivation now, if not always, has been Tashi's approval. And her approval, notably and very succinctly, hinges on him being a winner. He's like, I love you. And she's like, I know.
I love you.
I know.
So again, she's like, join this lower ranking competition because you're going to decimate it, get your confidence back, and we can move forward and really like bring it home. This is a fat ass. A few days prior to that interaction, we see Patrick, who is coming to town for the same competition, and he is notably in the money category on the complete opposite side of Art and Tashi. He has no money. He comes to a hotel the night before the competition opens. He has no money. He ends up sleeping in his car. When he gets to the gate opening, he's obviously hungry. He asks for an advance on his money for playing in the competition because he has none. And though he considers leaving early just to get his money quickly, he finds out that there's a wild card participating in the competition who just happens to be Art. We go back to 13 years ago, where Art and Patrick are basically big stars of tennis while they're in high school. They obviously both went to a prestigious tennis school together. They were doubles junior champions, and they have a very close and totally not gay relationship. Now, this isn't the first indication that one or both of the boys at this point, they're both 18, so barely adults at this point, are not quite straight. As we'll see, I think they're both bisexual, but the only one that really seems comfortable fully in that, or eventually will be, is Patrick. And this is a bit of like a reoccurring thing between the two of them. Art is very stoic and not as cool, quote unquote, as Patrick. Patrick doesn't give a He's just brash and free and an asshole completely. And Art, though an asshole in his own right, has an air of respectability around him and propriety around him. And perhaps that's why he doesn't maybe fully venture into or explore his bisexuality. He becomes completely enamored and emotionally dependent on Tashi. But again, getting ahead of myself, especially with all the changing timelines. Let me stay on focus. They're in high school and they're very, very close. And after they win the doubles competition, they actually have to go against each other. And it seems Art already knows that Patrick is going to win. Patrick is the stronger player. He's like, please, half jokingly, please, can you go easy on me tomorrow? My dying grandmother will be watching. Patrick is like, sure, I'll like throw the game. That's fine. But the stakes change when Art sees Tashi Duncan, also a high school player, 18 years old, who is already this kind of enigma, this phenom. She's on the brink of being a money maker for herself, for her family, or she already is, most likely. She's enigmatic, awe-inspiring, and they are both mystified by her. Her beauty, her talent, her intensity, her competitiveness. They're both like, oh my God, I want her. So she ends up winning her competition as well. And she has a party at her like magnificent estate that she has presumably through her competitive tennis playing, even though she's not even pro yet. It seems to be sponsored by big brands like Adidas. And it's pretty much clear that she is on the brink of stardom, something amazing. And they both are incredibly into her. They go up to her, they introduce themselves. Notably, again, going back to that, like the natural charisma and swagger of Patrick versus the like good boy, kind of dorky, but also kind of a piece of shit too, Art. Patrick is like, I want her to spank me with a racket. And Art is like, she's a remarkable woman. But I both go up to her to chat her up. She is already somewhat familiar with Art because she and him are going to be going to Stanford together, even though he didn't know who she was. She was like, when I got accepted, they told me about you. She's not deciding to go pro yet, though, because she wants to build skills, go to classes, and be more than just someone who can hit a ball with a racket as her only talent, which is ironic because that's all she talk about. They end up staying towards the tail end of the party, chatting her up again. They go to the beach, during which Tashi talks more about her philosophy around tennis and where that intensity comes from. She doesn't think of it as simply a game. She thinks of it as a relationship. At some point, there's something intimate that happens between you and your opponent. You understand each other like being in love.
You don't know what tennis is.
What is it?
It's a relationship. It's like we were in love.
And when she leaves, they both want her number. And she's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not a homewrecker. Patrick makes a joke about them being in an open relationship. And Art says something like, don't you have a girlfriend? He's like, no, I don't. I don't have a girlfriend. She doesn't refuse. She just doesn't give her number to either of them. But they do invite her to their hotel that they're staying at. Much to their surprise, she does pay them a visit, during which they drink beer and talk. And we learn about how Art and Patrick met. Again, they both went to the same tennis academy when they were 12. She asks like how often it is that they go after the same girl. And they're like, not often, but you just seem to be everyone's type, even though we don't tend to have the same type. She then asks if anything, had ever happened between the two of them. And Art, again, notably, is the only person to outright say no. But Patrick is like, well, there is a story that Art seems to be very embarrassed by, where Patrick taught Art how to masturbate. Again, very straight things, Art. Just f*** a dude. Like, it's fine. We then get the scene that probably got you to go to the movie. It got me to go. Where they all make out with each other on the bed. First separately with her, and then all together in this like triangle thing. And then she like backs away, and they don't notice that she backs away, and they're just going at it. And if you think of Tashi as tool for them to become closer, if we're thinking of tennis as a relationship, she's like the ball. Right now, spoiler, I thought I was getting again an MMF threesome, but alas, it ends up just being two guys making out, which is fine. Pretty hot, actually, just saying. I still wanted the threesome. I was bummed by that. We also never get it. Half my viewers just click out right there. It is in an interesting way kind of manipulative, though, how she goes about it. Like, obviously these feeling each other beyond something friendly, but again, Art is giving me, I don't want to confront those feelings. I don't want to think about that type thing. Anyway, but before she leaves, they still ask for her number, and she's like, well, whoever wins the match between the two of them can get my number.
Remember when you said you'd let me win?
That was a lifetime ago.
What about my grandmother?
I hope she has a fucking stroke.
For those of you that have been missing Russet, she is here. Let me go get her. Say hi, Booger Sugar. Okay. Back to the present, and the match is definitely tense after the first set, considering Patrick is now winning. We go back to earlier in the week before the match. Patrick has won a different challenger and is swiping indiscriminately on Tinder. And again, notably, Patrick is also swiping on men. He does do so with a bit of hesitation. I don't know if that was purposeful or just like incidentally kind of looked that way to me, but certainly between the two of them, is more comfortable confronting his sexuality. And boy, you'd have to be with just dicks swinging around in the men's locker room. There is no gayer place than a men's locker room. Just dicks out, cheering and jeering each other. It's weird. Put your dick away. Don't it feel rude? Like, it's one thing to just be naked because it's a consequence of being in a locker room. That's another thing when just be talking to you, just dicks out. Like, put your dick away. But Patrick ends up matching up with a woman who he goes on a date with, getting drinks at a hotel. The hotel, incidentally, is where Art and Tashi, as well as their daughter, happens to be staying. Patrick rudely leaves his date there to go and talk to Tashi. She is very much so like, stay the f away from us. What are you doing here? Why are you staying in this hotel? Oh my God. She also asks, are you on a date? And he's like, yeah. Come to find out, he went on this date to match with a girl, to schmooze her up, have sex, whatever, so that he'll have a place to stay for free during the competition. Hobosexuals. Be careful. When the weather gets cold, you get a hobosexual. But she's like, stay the f away from us. Fortunately or unfortunately, his plan does work. And very quickly, the woman lets him stay at her place while the competition goes on. What type of dick is that? Dick that lets you move in for a week? I don't want that. You can keep it. Back to 13 years ago again, and it would seem that Patrick was the one who ended up winning that match. And afterwards, he begins to date Tashi. However, again, if you recall, Tashi and Art are at Stanford together. Art and Patrick reunite because they played tennis together, I guess, through the summer, or maybe they go on tour for tennis together or something. Patrick goes pro. I don't think he goes to college. He goes straight to playing pro. It would seem that Art still has his affinity for Tashi, especially when he finds out that Patrick and her have had sex. Now, this is where I'm going to bring in one of my biggest technical gripes with this movie. The music. The music is terrible. I hate it. It's very upbeat, early 2000s, distractingly loud techno music. As a bitch with ADHD, it was incredibly hard to focus on what was being said. Now, I understand that perhaps is a stylistic choice. Maybe the words themselves aren't as important as it is the back and forth, the energy, or whatever. I understand that. But bitch, it is incredibly hard to focus on a movie when all I hear is the opening. I've made this joke before. I was going to say it sounds like the opening of Tekken Tag Tournament, but just way worse. I'm funny even when I say the joke a second time. Back to the present. And after the first set, Patrick is definitely winning, which, as you'll notice, as we do a retelling of the story going back and forth, that the match at the end is coinciding with who is winning in regards to Tashi throughout the story that's being shown, right? So when we go back 12 years, Patrick and Tashi are dating. Art is simply her friend. And one day he invites her to lunch. Art invites her to lunch, where he tries to sow some seeds of doubt in regards to Patrick. She's like, what, is he talking to other girls on tour? And he's like, no, I just feel, I don't know. I'm just surprised that you guys are still seeing each other is all. She gets angry because, like, you're a terrible friend, first of all. And he's like, he isn't in love with you. And she turns around angry and she's like, did I ever tell you that I'm in love with him? Do you think I asked him to be in love with me? Mind your own business. Now, having watched this movie a bunch of times is because Tashi doesn't have the capacity, I don't think, to really love anything or anyone other than her hyperfixation and almost her personhood that she puts into tennis. The bitch don't talk about nothing else. And if we change the topic from it, she gets frustrated, angry. She's like, I don't have time for this. All we have is tennis. But he's like, don't you think you deserve it? Who wouldn't be in love with you? Real subtle. And she leaves like, you're the worst friend in the world, which it depends on how you look at it. Because, like, Patrick sucks. He's definitely, if not actively cheating on her, it isn't below him to do so. Like, he's eyeing up girls at the lunch table when he comes to visit Art and Tashi. But he meets up with Art first, and he notices that he's, like, eyeing girls up and down, Art asks him, like, oh, are you seeing anybody? And he's like, what do you mean, dude? You know I'm taken. Again, as if it's below you to cheat on her. And Art says, jokingly, quote unquote, oh, you're not here to see me? Then we have something pretty homoerotic and kind of hot, I ain't gonna lie, where Patrick pulls Art's seat over with his foot, and they're both eating some of the most phallic looking churros I've ever seen in my life. But despite that, even at one point, Patrick eating Art's churro, literally, unfortunately, it's not figurative. Their conversation, of course, leads back to Tashi. And Art is like, wow, are you actually committing to this? I didn't take you for a guy that would be so, like a one-woman guy. And he's like, I like her enough. I think she's going to make a serious man out of me, an honest man out of me. But Art is like, oh, I just got the impression from like a conversation we had that it wasn't something that she saw to be, like long-term, like a serious relationship. Immediately, Patrick picks up on Art's meddling. And in a weird sense, Patrick is proud of him. He's like, I didn't think you had it in you. The audacity is something that maybe you're even missing from your tennis game, dude. This chicken tender is like half a chicken breast. Was I just hangry? Patrick goes to Tashi's room and they're about to get busy, but her dirty talk seems to be, again, tennis. He says, I missed you. She does not reciprocate. She doesn't even respond to it. She just starts talking about tennis. And he's like, do you really want to talk about this? Like, this is what we always talk about. Can we talk about something else? Again, she sounds like a hoot, man. He's like, I feel bad a little bit because he, talked to Art and he gets the sense that he still has feelings for you. And she's like, are you intimidated by him? He's a really good tennis player. And he's like, wait, are we still competing for your number? I thought I already won. She was like, that's your problem. You always think you won when the match isn't over. And he's like, are we still talking about tennis? And she's like, yeah, because we're always talking about tennis. And I'm like, and so he's like, can we not talk about tennis? And if you're not talking about tennis, Tashi don't want to talk. Even if tennis is meant to be emblematic of your relationship and how she's like cool with your best friend if he's a better tennis player is what I get the sense of, because duh. So this bleeds into an argument because she's like, I don't really want to have this conversation. I want to stretch before my match. Like, I want you to play well because if we're going to be dating and you suck, that's embarrassing for me. Like, you want a cheerleader instead of a coach? Fine. Go get you a girlfriend. You're charming. You got a big dick, whatever. If you want just any other girl to date, go date them. I don't have time for this shit because I'm here to talk about tennis. This conversation ends with him basically saying like, I'm not going to come to your match. I'm not going to support your match. I'm not one of your groupies. If you want a groupie, go to Art. He'll do that for you. I'm not a part of your fan club. I'm your peer. And though I would love to talk about this argument, particularly, how this scene really cements the relationship Tashi has to Patrick, her relationship to Art, how Patrick feels about Art and his attraction to Tashi, how that is all represented through the game of tennis. It's hard to do that when you can barely hear because the music is so loud. Jesus!
Maybe you need someone like that. Someone who's gonna hop on board and be Mr. Tashi Duncan.
So because Patrick doesn't end up coming to her match, Art is the only one there, and he's there supporting. And it's a good thing because she ends up having an injury that essentially ruins her tennis career. She ends up breaking her knee, and she's writhing in pain on the floor, which is probably one of the few instances in this movie where she makes any emotion. Like at all. Art is there to help her get to the med room. And then there's Patrick, too little too late. It's just a little too late. I'm not going to do what I did last week. I broke into a whole contagious spiel, not doing it again. But yeah, she's really upset to see Patrick, coming in, and Art actually co-signs her anger and it's like, get the out, which effectively ends Art's relationship to Patrick as well as Tashi's relationship to Patrick. Patrick just goes off and Art and Tashi get closer. Back to the present, we're on our second set and Art is now winning this one, specifically after an arguably bad call. Again, representative of the relationship that they had. Okay. Ooh, cinema. Okay. Back to the past, and Tashi is again trying to recover from her knee injury, but she can never fully get back to where she was before. And though she's frustrated to all hell, Art is there to hug her when she starts breaking down, though we don't ever see her face in that context. But at some point, she frustratingly accepts the inevitability that she may never be able to play professionally again. 3 years after this, she is now coaching tennis, and she comes to visit Art, who is now playing, I believe, in the professional level at this point. And they end up going to dinner, and he asks if she would be willing to be his assistant coach. And she's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, considering like I'm Patrick's ex, considering that you had feelings for me. You were in love with me, so you say. Are you still in love with me? And he just doesn't answer that. He's like, well, I don't keep in touch with Patrick anymore. And she's like, I think you would beat him if you guys played each other now. But she's like, you never answered. Are you still in love with me? And he says, who wouldn't be? That's cute. They walk out of the restaurant and he's like, I really want to kiss you. And I love when guys do that. That's so dorky and cute. Like, I really want to kiss you. Well, it's cute when you want to kiss them. I had this one guy that I did not want to kiss and he's like, I really want to kiss you. And I'm like, But if you want him to kiss you, it's very cute. But they end up kissing and outside of an Applebee's, true American romance. And at that point, they are now a couple. Back to the present, Patrick is losing his mind because he has now lost the second set and has lost the first point of the third. Art is still in the lead. We go back to early in the week before the final competition that we just saw. Patrick comes to Tashi asking if she would be his coach. He's like, Art is going to retire soon. And when he does, he'll just be remembered as a really good player. But I have one good season left in me. And imagine the legacy you would have as a coach if you brought out a grand slam out of Patrick, whatever his last name is. She is galled by the sheer audacity and ends up slapping him across the face. She's like, you are 31. Quit. Go ask your very rich family for money or a seat on the board, and you can stop LARPing as an athlete who's down in his luck and has to sleep in his car. You've come from a rich family, bitch. Stop being so full of yourself, as if you aren't a spoiled rich kid with spoiled rich parents who can help you. It's not cute. Patrick is like, but you hate Art because he's about to retire. He's giving up. And she's like, he's an adult. He can do whatever he wants to do. And he's like, sure, he can do whatever he wants, but he does whatever you want. He always has. But now he's not pretending to like it anymore. And who is he to you if he's not playing tennis? And she's like, what, you think he's just a racket and a dick? You think that's all I care about in regards to him? But he asked, does Art know about Atlanta? I'm like, ooh, what was Atlanta? He's like, I think you came to see me. She's like, you got a lot of nerve. And the way she reacted to him leads me to believe that, yeah, that might not necessarily be completely untrue. Because I don't know about y'all. I would have just been like, I'm not doing this. And just walked away. If I didn't give I wouldn't even have this conversation, but like, whatever. But before she goes in a huff, he gives her his number. Like, if you change your mind about the coaching thing, let me know. And despite her saying like, I won't change my mind, she does keep his number and walks off slow motion, but mentally. I was like, oh, okay, model. The day before the present tournament, and Patrick comes into the sauna with Art, dick literally swinging, ass out, and basically says what Art had said to him when they were teenagers. Hey, can you not like demolish me tomorrow? Patrick is like, we haven't said anything to each other all week. We're friends. This is so dramatic. And I think this isn't about tennis. I think this is, you're upset that Tashi could have ever been into someone like me. And Art is like, yeah, when we were teenagers. And Patrick is like, right, when we were teenagers. We go back to 8 years earlier at the Atlanta Open. Art and Patrick are playing in the same competition. And at 3 a.m. one night, Patrick and Tashi see each other in the like hotel bar. I will say he's been wearing this shirt in several scenes and I'm sure it's emblematic of something. But the only thing I can think of is like, damn, this don't have another shirt. He notices that she's wearing a wedding ring. She says it's his grandmother's. He asks, how is she? She says she died of a stroke. Some wishes do come true. They end up kissing at the table. Back to the sauna, and Art admits that he does find it disturbing that Tashi was ever into someone like him. We go back to Atlanta at the table. Art sees them talking but doesn't see them kiss, but he ends up getting distracted by a fan, and when he turns back around, they're gone. So he doesn't know for sure if something happened, but he knows something happened. Back to the sauna, and Art, who up until this point has always been kind of like under Patrick in a lot of ways, like he wasn't as suave, he wasn't as cool, he wasn't as carefree, he wasn't as good of a tennis player. But now at this moment, he's like, I'm not your bitch anymore. He's like, Patrick, it's incredibly embarrassing for you to be here. He's like, it's just as embarrassing for you. He was like, no. I'm just stopping by. This is where you live. He don't say but it felt right. He was like, just because we grew up together doesn't mean we're peers. No. He's like, you don't matter to even the most obsessive tennis fan. And Patrick was like, wait, are we still talking about tennis? And he's like, what else will we be talking about? Y'all wanted to like, all problems would have been solved if we just made a throuple. Y'all wouldn't be good to each other. Y'all not good people. But if we all just brought all the shitty people together and stopped the fighting, we probably wouldn't have a movie. But Art is like, you've never grown up. I don't miss playing with you. I'm too old for this shit. I also saw you looking at his dick, Patrick. You're not slick. That night, Art asks Tashi to tell him that it doesn't matter if he wins tomorrow against Patrick. And she's like, no, you're a professional. You're a grown man. I'm not your mommy. He's like, I just want you to say that you will love me no matter what. And she was like, who am I, Jesus? And he's like, yes. I mean, it's a bit dramatic, but he definitely has been hyper fixated on your acceptance and guidance since you've met, basically, for basically half of his life at this point. Is obsessed and has no personhood. And what little he's developed over the years has just been separating himself away from Patrick, who kind of leaves him in his shadow, so to speak. She's like, you can beat him. He then tells her something that he knows will upset her, which is that after the Open, he plans to retire. He doesn't want to be one of those players that don't know how to walk away. And she's like, if you want to quit tennis, you can quit tennis. You don't need my permission. And he's like, I know I'm playing for the both of us. And in him saying this, you can tell he wants her to give that motivation that she gives him as a coach. And she's like, okay, fine. If you don't win tomorrow, I'll leave you. Does that help motivate you? And I guess so, because he makes out with her, lays his head on her lap and says, can you please hold me until I fall asleep? And she's like, sure. But as soon as he falls asleep, she goes and leaves into the middle of the night to call Patrick. Just be a throuple. Oh my God. She gets in his car in the middle of an incredibly intense windstorm, might I add, symbolizing the destructive and inevitable nature of their attraction to each other, bro. He's a whirlwind. He's a typhoon. Whereas Art is stable, assured, comparatively the better person. But she's not great either, so whatever. She gets in the car. She's like, hey, I need you to throw a game. He's like, what the f? They start arguing. The music is loud as shit. So I don't really know what they say. Something along the lines of, I didn't come here to f you. Who's like, you did come here to f me. She was like, well, if that means you'll throw away the match, then fine. They argue back and forth. He drives off. She gets out of the car. She turns back around, spits in his face, hot. But eventually they end up just making out and in the car. But after they're done, she's like, make the match look good. Don't make it obvious that you're throwing the match. She's like, how will I know that you're actually going to do it? And he was like, well, you don't. So back to the present, Patrick does exactly that. He starts making super obvious mistakes that show he's throwing the match. So much so that Art notices and he's like, that. And he starts blowing a few points so that he knows not to pander to him. He's like, that. And it goes with him going head to head for the tie breaking point. And this, again, is supposed to be this like nail biting part of the movie, the ultimate climax. But I hated it. There's something about the incredible incredibly slow motion, the sweaty, and then this like vertigo inducing tennis ball POV. No. And the music, it was just sensorily overwhelming. But the match ends in this triumphant moment where Art jumps up in the air, raising his racket, hits the ball, falls onto the net, and presumably scores the winning point. But we never see the ball because Patrick is there to catch him, and they embrace and hug it out, I guess. And it ends with showing Tashi screaming, "Come on!" like she did when she won her match in one of the flashbacks, and she smiles widely, again, perhaps for the first time in the entire movie, and that is Challengers. Pretty good. I think there's definitely, again, a lot of technical issues that take away from the overall enjoyment for me personally. Sensorily overwhelming. I wanted a throuple. I wanted my MMF threesome. That's just me being horny on main, but I wanted good quality camera work, whatever. I do think that the more I sit with the ending, the more I think that's the movie's biggest weakness. Let me just read the text messages I sent to my boyfriend, because I remember just writing out what I thought. I think it's because it's open-ended, but the movie didn't set me up to really like or care about any of them. It's a movie that has a lot to work with, but kind of falls flat and expects us as the audience to extrapolate what these characters mean to each other and themselves. But the movie didn't make me care about any of them, so I have little interest in doing that. So I'm left with the movie itself, which is good, fun to look at, fun to follow as a story unfolds, but the impact definitely falls flat if it all whittles down to the relationship of two unlikable men and the unlikable woman they are focused on. Granted, Art is more sympathetic to me and there is more developed personhood there compared to the other two, but even that doesn't make the end a triumph if that was what the movie was trying to say. It just feels kind of incomplete to me. Also, that it ended in a way that, again, doesn't make me want to complete it. I don't like any of the characters at all. So why would I want to delve more into what happens to them after the credits roll, you know? But again, 7 out of 10, not bad. And I'm sorry for those of you that thought I was going to have more to say. I think a lot of people are just really into the movie because they're like, 2 guys making out and a possible 3-way? Oh my God. But there wasn't really a movie built on that. It was a movie about these 3 people that I don't care about. I'm going to go to bed because I'm in a bad mood because uterus, whatever. Take me half an edible and go into the sunken place, baby. So with that said, if you like this video, feel free to like this video. Follow me on all my social media, Instagram and Twitter, both of which are KennieJD. And if you have other things that you think I should check out, feel free to put those down in the comment section. At me on Twitter. You know the dealio. And I will see you guys next time.